Welcome back to Suja South Africa. I'm Nikinesh as always, and today you guys join me inside the Suzuki Grand Vitara GL model. GL model being the entry-level version going into the Grand Vitara. So you guys are always saying I never have entry-level vehicles on test. Well, this time around, I have one for you guys. So stop having me for not having entry-level vehicles on test. But with this Grand Vitara, I'm gonna tell you every single thing you need to know from the exterior look of the vehicle, interior look of the vehicle, and the overall drive of the vehicle and what I think about it, and cost of ownership of the vehicle. So stay tuned, let's get into it. So speaking about the exterior look of the vehicle, I'm not a fan of the vehicle in terms of the look of it in front. I feel like they could have done better. So with the look of the vehicle in front, it looks like the fronts, but the fronts looks better. The whole headlight design on the fronts, it works. Here for me personally doesn't work, doesn't look the best, and I don't know if my judgment is being clouded because it looks like a fronts, and also the car that Toyota takes from this. So the Toyota has it's called a Toyota Urban Cruiser. So the Toyota Urban Cruiser looks good from the front. So I don't know if my judgment is being clouded by the fact that a car this size and all of that looks better than this in front. Could be that, but I don't necessarily mind the look of the vehicle in front. Side profile of the vehicle looks like a normal any small compact SUV. This one being the GM model is sitting on these base spec wheels. Obviously when you upgrade to the GLX you get nice different alloy designs, which I actually do like. But the place that I like, the part about the car that I like is the rear. So the light design at the back, it looks very good, especially when the lights are on. In the evening, it has all this whole light bar effect. It's not like a full light bar because the Suzuki badge comes in between the two lights, but it looks good. I like the look of that at the back. So something that I'm really a fan of. So now moving on to the interior of the vehicle, and I said this in my Suzuki Franks video, is that the interior Suzuki gets so right because it's so simple. They didn't try to do so much. The vehicle, well, everything you need is right there. So this being the GL model, you get a 7-inch infotainment touchscreen infotainment system, whereas on the GLX model you get a bigger one. I think it's a 10-inch touchscreen infotainment system. You do not get a digital dial instrument cluster across the whole model range. You get this analog style instrument cluster with a small digital instrument cluster in the middle of the two gauges that will be telling you your range, your motion, where your power is being sent, all of the type of information. Now moving on to the seats, this one is covered in cloth seats because the entry level, but when you go to the GLX model you get leather wrapped seats, leather wrapped steering wheel, but leather wrapped steering wheel is standard across the brand. Something that I just forgot to mention, that across all the Grand Vitaras you get keyless entry and keyless go. What is that? You do not need to press the key to unlock the vehicle. You don't need to put the key into the ignition to start the vehicle because there's no ignition to put the key. So keyless start and keyless go. Moving on to the rear seats at the back, there's enough leg room for you as the passenger, enough headroom, decent space. Is it good enough for long distance traveling? Will get the job done. The boot capacity, on the other hand, is not the biggest of boot capacity, but it's livable boot capacity. Looking at the size of the vehicle, it will get the job done. For what the person that owns this vehicle would like to do, it will get the job done. And look at the amount of people this car fits is perfect enough. So now moving on to the drive of the vehicle. So I mentioned, and I'm going to speak about it first before everything else. So I mentioned, click the pop-out banner or the link in the description box below to go to my Suzuki Franks video. I spoke about the automatic gearbox in there. So if I'm not mistaken, obviously I could be mistaken, but the gearbox found in there should be the exact same one found in here, the 4-speed auto, unless it was calibrated differently. But in this Grand Vitara, it does not work as efficient or as good as it works in the Franks. So in the Franks, there's never been a point where I felt like the car needs to downshift because it always found itself in the right gear, whether it's gear 2, gear 3, or gear 4. Whereas on this one, sometimes it finds itself sitting on like gear 4 and I needed to downshift to gear 3 to give me the power that I want without heavily going on to the acceleration. So something that I do not necessarily like about this specific vehicle is the gearbox. So it's a 4-speed automatic gearbox. You get a 5-speed manual, and having driven this automatic gearbox, I'm definitely going to say opt for the 5-speed manual. But if you do opt for the automatic, like I said in my Suzuki Franks video, it'll get the job done. It'll put you from point A to point B. You will have a bit of a gripe with it, but you'll get over it. Power-wise, you're looking at a 1.5-liter naturally aspirated engine producing 77 kilowatts and 138 newton meters of torque. Underpowered, yes, but for daily use, will you feel the underpoweredness? Not really. It will get the job done from point A to point B. It will get the job done. Where you feel the lack of power is when you're on the highway, or you're on back roads, or you're on one-way roads where sometimes you'll need to overtake. So when you put your foot down, it will take some time. So I'm gonna show you. I think the car's in gear 2 or 3 right now, or 3. It's in gear 3 right now. If I put my foot flat, it will take some time, but you'll hear it. There. Then it screams gear 3, then that's 60. So yeah, it's a here and there type of thing for me, honestly, this vehicle. But for what it is, it will get the job done. For the person that's buying this vehicle, you will not have any issues with it. Now, that segment of called Know Your Brand, brought to you by Change Cars. I'm going to tell you an interesting fact about Suzuki that happened over in January, well, the whole of January. Suzuki managed to sell 5,200 vehicles, and they are the top 3 best passenger selling brands in the country. So why I'm telling you this is because they've been pumping up, they've been moving up the ranks, going up. And here's the interesting fact, right? Number 2 is Volkswagen. Number 1 is Toyota. But Toyota's up there in terms of the numbers. But in the number 2 spot, Volkswagen is at 5,500 rand. Oh, not 5,500 rand. It's 5,500 units, my mistake. And the gap between Volkswagen and Suzuki over the past month has been 300. And that's something that is of interest. And it's something that's showing that a lot of people are buying Suzuki and are slowly moving away from the German brand. And I think over the next couple of months, I believe Suzuki will be second, unless the VW comes with something that will make their brand cheaper, or their vehicles cheaper. So that's something that you guys need to look out for. Remember this, take this clip, remember this. By April, May, June, Suzuki will be top 2 in terms of units sold in a month. And speaking about units sold in a month, let me tell you the price of this vehicle. So this Suzuki Grand Vitara GL model is priced at 370 model, obviously 370,000 rand being the one I'm in because of the automatic. For the manual, it's 350,000 rand. So if you take this specific one that I'm in and you finance it over a period of 5 years at an interest rate of 12.25% with no deposit, you're looking at paying a monthly installment of 8,200 rand. A full tank of this vehicle is in and around 800 rand, and you add that all up, you're looking at paying 9,000 rand for this vehicle without insurance on a monthly basis. Now, you guys are wondering, but Nikki, there's something called a GLX, and there's a GLX hybrid from Suzuki. Now, why aren't I speaking about that? I'm not speaking about that because I'm going to request that I get that one and do a full review on that one and speak about pricing of that one, because I'm not really a fan of pricing of that specific Grand Vitara, because that specific Grand Vitara is from 450,000 rand. The most I've been seeing, some have been selling for 480,000 rand, and that's a lot of money. But I'm gonna tell you about this one and this one only, so that one will speak about it in its review. But tell me what you guys would like to know about this specific vehicle. If there's anything that I didn't cover, comment down below. I'll make sure I cover it so in the next video and all that. So this is the car that I've been spending 2-3 weeks with, and I'm gonna spend a couple of more weeks with. So comment down below what you guys would like to know. I'll most probably do another video if I see the need to do one. But yeah, I'm Nick Nash from South Africa, and I hope you guys did like the content as always, and I'll see you in the next one.